The Adventures of Aeneas, Troy to Italy. Aeneas and his fellow Trojans flee to the Mediterranean Sea from their home city of Troy, which has been devastated by the Greeks. They set sail for Italy, where Aeneas will establish Rome. A violent storm drives them off course and lands them in Carthage as they approach their destination. Carthage's foundering queen Dido greets them. Aeneas tells Dido about his group's lengthy and hard journey thus far. The sack of Troy, which concluded the Trojan War after 10 years of Greek siege, is recounted by Aeneas. The Trojans were duped in the final war when they allowed a wooden horse past their city walls that, unbeknownst to them, contained numerous Greek soldiers in its hollow belly. He describes that he, his father Anchises, his son Ascanius, and the earth gods that represent their fallen city escaped the burning city Carthage. He set off with a ship including the remaining city of Troy, assured by the gods that a magnificent future awaited him in Italy. Aeneas recounts their journey's trials and tribulations. They tried to create a new city twice, but were thwarted by evil omens and plagues both times. Harpists, half woman, half bird creatures, cursed them, but they were also surprised to meet friendly compatriots. They finally arrived in Carthage following the death of Anchises and a period of bad weather. Dido, a Phoenician princess who fled her home and created Carthage when her brother murdered her husband, falls in love with Aeneas after being impressed by his accomplishments and empathetic to his suffering. For a time, they lived together as lovers until the gods remind Aeneas of his responsibility to create a new city. He has made up his mind to return to sea. Bad weather sweeps the Trojans to Sicily, where they played funeral festivities for the dead Anchises while they make their way to Italy. The women, bored of the journey, start to set fire to the ships, but the fires are put out by a downpour. Some of the tired travelers stay behind, while Aeneas, re-energized after seeing his father in a dream, leads the rest of the way to Italy. Aeneas, accompanied by the Sibyl of Cumae, descends into the underworld to see his father. He is shown a pageant depicting Rome's future history and heroes, which helps him comprehend the significance of his task. The Trojans move up the coast to the Latium region after Aeneas returns from the underworld. The Trojans' arrival in Italy begins smoothly. King Latinus, the Italian king, extends his hospitality in the hopes that Aeneas may prove to be the foreigner whom his daughter Lavinia is intended to marry according to the prophecy. Amata, Latinus' wife, has other plans. Lavinia is to marry Turnus, a local suitor according to her plans. The recently arrived Trojans are a source of hostility for Amata and Turnus. Ascanius is hunting a stag that was a local herdsman's pet. Several people are slain in a battle that breaks out. Turnus, riding the tide of rage, declares war. Aeneas sails north up the Tiber, on the advice of the river god Tiberinus, in search of military help among the neighboring tribes. During this journey, his mother, Venus, descends to present him with a new set of Vulcan-forged weapons. Turnus assaults while the Trojan leader is away. When Aeneas returns, he finds his countrymen in the midst of a war. Turnus kills Pallas, the son of Aeneas' new ally Evander. Aeneas flies into a rage, and many more are killed by the end of the day. The two sides agree to a ceasefire so that the dead can be buried, and the Latin leaders debate whether or not to continue fighting. They propose a hand-to-hand fight between Aeneas and Turnus to avoid any further pointless carnage. When the two commanders clash and the other men start fighting, and a full-scale war ensues. Although Aeneas is wounded in the thigh, the Trojans eventually threaten the opposing city. Turnus rushes out to confront Aeneas, who injures him severely. Turnus is nearly spared by Aeneas, but he is killed instead after recalling the stain Pallius. Moral of the story: the narrative reminds us that when we think about such things, we should anticipate to preserve against not only external opposition but also our own failures. It also serves as a reminder that we can recover far more than we have lost. Reflection: I'd want to leave you with a picture from the story that symbolizes Aeneas' brave perseverance, an image that we should all remember anytime we lose something important. It's humbling to read of Aeneas and realize that our proclivity for self-indulgence can lead us to settle for a dalliance that would badly harm others around us. It's also disheartening to realize that settling for a historical recreation can have the same result. Many of us have lost valuable items that we deservedly cherished. We can, however, be encouraged by the example of Virgil's hero who, despite his flaws, persevered.